Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633. We're taking a look at another Star Wars review. This time we're going to take a look at the Star Wars 40th Anniversary 6-inch Black Series R5-D4. Now this is a GameStop exclusive and it's extremely hard to find, and so far it has not ever since restocked on the GameStop website. It wasn't until today, which I am actually filming, where I was able to find R5-D4 at one of my local GameStops. So I'm actually happy to finally get a hold of this figure. It is on the vintage card, which we'll see now. Similar to what we see with the 3 3/4 inch during the vintage collection and the original release. One thing that is distracting is the Only at GameStop sticker. I thought this was actually printed, but it's actually a sticker. But it is very annoying to see. But other than that, it is still pretty faithful to the original card, from what I could tell. It has the Kenner logo there. It says Star Wars 40th on the side here. Has the old Star Wars logo once again. And on the back, it's very similar to what we see with the promotion with the Darth Vader Legacy Pack. Now, unfortunately, outside of R5-D4, the X-Wing pilot that was released at Celebration this year, and the original 12 releases, Hasbro has confirmed that that is all they're releasing for the vintage card in 6-inch. Now, I can understand maybe that's just kind of the safe way to put it in. It's really just for an anniversary thing that they're not continuing with the releases, but it'd be nice to see if other characters would have made it into the line eventually, but unfortunately that does not seem to be the case. Anyways, we're going to take a look at R5-D4 more specifically. In terms of overall design, I think Hasbro did a fantastic job in bringing the actual character to the 6-inch scale. One thing that is annoying is that the little antenna piece is quite warped outside of the box, at least in mine, and I think that's really depressing, especially since this is a figure that is about $2 above the standard retail due to the fact that it is an exclusive. Articulation-wise, the head can spin, and since it's going to activate the gimmick again, when you spin the head, once again it features the rotatable leg, and I really do not like that kind of gimmick that the figure has, and it would have been nice if they actually excluded that and just made it a separate piece, especially since there is literally no other accessories with this release. So I find that kind of a problem, especially since you're spending about $22 or so on this release. Other than that, the paint scheme, as I mentioned, is really nice. It does have a lot of dirty marks over it, due to the fact that it is quite weathered. On the top, there isn't any movable pieces or removable pieces similar to what we see with the R2-D2, which had some of the pieces there, which is unfortunate, especially since the movie he had this whole deal with the bad motivator that obviously is not featured whatsoever on this 6-inch release. It does have this kind of sticker decals all throughout the neck area here, and it's kind of cool actually, and it looks really nice in my opinion, especially with the reflective surface design. He does feature the little compartments that can open, which is pretty much standard for the Astromechs in the 6-inch scale. Same thing with the other side, since it does have the other arm piece inside. It's a little hard to pull out, but it is that typical little tools that we've seen with the Astromechs in the 6-inch scale. These pieces are removable as well, and you could theoretically use the same pieces that came with R2-D2 to make them have kind of a thruster thing, but obviously it's not accurate whatsoever since this particular droid really didn't have that much role in the film. Other articulation points include an articulated shoulder there and pivots here. But that's about it for articulation. He does have rotatable wheels. Apologize, the thing got out of place. There we go. He does have fully working wheels at the bottom of the feet that you can roll it across the table if you wish to. It's a little bit tricky, but this leg doesn't seem to be want to move for some reason. There we go. So you could theoretically just roll it around the table, so that works really nicely. We're actually going to collapse the leg, since we're actually going to do one little comparison and pretty much end the review from there. First, here is R5 next to the only astromech I have in the 6-inch scale, and that is the standard R2-D2. It is a little bit taller than the release, but that's really because of the dome design, which is, I think, accurate at least in terms of the two astromechs, even if the mold itself isn't accurate to scale with the other figures. And here's a comparison with Luke as seen on the box and also in the film, with them looking towards R5 as they were choosing the droids from the Sandcrawler. It's kind of hard to pull the full-on kind of pose, and that's because he doesn't have enough articulation in his feet to kind of imitate that particular scene, but it does work nicely otherwise. As a comparison, we're actually just going to take Luke back him standing to see how he looks like next to R5. Unfortunately, the droid is still in a smaller scale, but at least the overall design and sculpt really do make this release a lot more worth it, regardless of that size issue. So overall, this is a really nice release, although it is extremely hard to get a hold of, as I mentioned earlier, due to the fact it is a GameStop exclusive. I think this is actually the first of the GameStop exclusives, at least in terms of the 6-inch Black Series releases, with the second being the TIE Fighter pilots from the second Battlefront game. So, at this point, it's kind of hard to recommend, not so much because the toy itself is bad, but really because it is extremely hard to get a hold of, and especially since this particular item is apparently warranting, really high-end prices on the secondary market, so it's probably best to wait it out, maybe for it to appear again, since it did just appear for once in my local store. So, fortunately, at this point, it's pretty much just the waiting game to see if this figure will ever appear in several locations, though sadly at this point, it's probably a lost cause. Anyways, please comment and subscribe, and check out Hero Club and Hirotaku. Also check my Twitter to Darkon633, and don't forget to check down the other channels down below. Please check the little bell at the bottom of the screen to see my content go up as soon as possible. I'm back with more Star Wars reviews, but for now, I'll be seeing you later, YouTube. Bye.